Reppin' Philly ain't a choice, it's a way of life. PhillyGoat.com is your one-stop shop for Philly pride. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off. Look fresh, stay Philly, Philly Goat. Go Birds. What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for April 15th, 2026. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Wednesday edition of the podcast. Happy hump day to everyone out there. Happy tax day. Get your taxes in if you haven't done it already. Don't need to get the IRS involved on you, but all right. Let's start with the Phils, and not a good night down at the bank for the Phillies. Got off to a good start, 3-0, and then it was all Cubs and Mundo Sosa with a homer. And I love Mundo. I feel like, for whatever reason, Rob Thompson has this ungodly, ridiculous relationship with Alec Bohm. I would like to almost see more of a platoon with Mundo, because I feel like whenever he's in there, good things happen. But then it was all Cubs. Nola was okay. Gave up 3 runs in 5 innings, 5 strikeouts. Again, okay. 6 innings. But then the bullpen was very inconsistent. Kind of one of those ones you just, as Clint Hurdle would say, shower well, get it out of here, and move on. Jackie Robinson Day today down at the ballpark, or Jackie Robinson Night. Everybody will be wearing 42. One of my favorite days of the year, honoring the great Jackie Robinson. Jesus Luzardo is looking to bounce back as well tonight, as the Phillies look to take the rubber match with the Cubs. But again, very inconsistent offense. But that's going to be the story of this team all year. It just, get used to it, because this is the way it's going to be. Hopefully tonight is one of those. It's supposed to be in the 90s, so hopefully it's hitting season and we see some dingers at the park tonight. Flyers close out the regular season. It was AHL night. A lot of the regulars rested. Mishkov, Alex Bump, Porter Martone all scored. Oliver Bonk got his first NHL goal after being called up from the Phantoms. Flyers beat the Canadiens 4-2, and now we just wait for the rest of the regular season to end and get that schedule for the Flyers, Penguins. It's time. So kind of the schedule makers kind of help the Flyers out somewhat. They get some time to kind of rest, recoup, and whatnot. But we should be, I believe the playoffs kick off this weekend. Just don't know what the schedule is going to be for the Flyers. As soon as we know, I will give it to you. Speaking of playoffs, Sixers playing tonight down at the X versus the Magic. Wearing the black unis. It was announced that for all home playoff games, they'll wear the black ones. Winner of this game gets to take on the Celtics. Loser goes and plays. I guess if it's the Six, either way, they'll welcome the Hornets to their arenas. So, I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing it. Either way, the Sixers are not winning the first round. I'm just kind of looking to see if there's some promise for the future. But it's still playoffs, man. It's still playoffs. But Sixers Magic tonight down at the X for the right to be the 7th seed and take on the Celtics. Going back to yesterday's trivia question, we talked about hitting 2 home runs on opening day. Sherry McGee, Chuck Klein, Lefty O'Doul, and the last player to do it was Don Money back in 1969 against the Cubs. Rookie Don Money. Heard a cool story from my brother. I guess Don Money lives in Maryland, not far from where he works for Weiss Markets, not far from where they have a Weiss store down there. Was wearing a Philly shirt, ran into Don Money at the store. So I told him, I was like, well, tell him he was the subject of a trivia question, give him my business card, and let's do it. Got to spread the word any way possible. And if it's Don Money in the grocery store, that works for me. All right, some Eagles news. Howie Roseman spoke yesterday and didn't really say much. Didn't expect him to say much, but was asked about the Jalen Hurts articles that have been coming out. And said it's really unfair the way they're going after him. He said he gets it. That's how clicks and subscriptions and newspapers, whatever, newsletters, that's how you sell your papers. But said it's very unfair because I'm trying to think how he worded it. If we have a problem with a player, we go directly to them. Wouldn't necessarily elaborate, but I kind of agree. These articles probably came out after the fact. There's no doubt in my mind that the team has talked to Jalen, and I've said it before. Like, I think it's, if you have eyes, you know what Jalen does. But the issue is nobody looks at it objectively anymore. Everybody is like, Jalen sucks, get him out of here, or Jalen does no wrong. These are witch hunts. And the truth of the matter is right in the middle, where Jalen, I've talked about it ad nauseum. There are some things that he needs to work on. And I think Howie, in a roundabout way, acknowledged that, but we'll see. And now I need Howie to get back into his bunker to get ready for the draft. There will be a new Brotherly Birds breakdown coming out next week, likely Tuesday, where we'll look at the Eagles draft needs, kind of give our draft boards and get at it. So stay tuned for that. Available wherever you get your podcasts as well as on YouTube. Best way is to subscribe to that YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont, or follow me on any of my social media platforms at Philly Jimbo. Like I said, lots of good things coming up. Not quite there to make announcements yet, but I got like 3 or 4 separate things going on that when the time is right, I will let you know what they are. Some of them do involve the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame. Some of them involve a side project that I will be working on, so just stay tuned in the next couple weeks for that. And then, of course, the other big story, I guess Eagles related, was Diana Rossini put in her resignation at The Athletic. And a lot of mixed reactions to that. And look, here's the way I look at it. 2 things. One, and I said this from the very beginning, it's not about her having an affair with Mike Vrabel, allegedly, and if they did, who cares? That's a whole separate issue that you need to take up with your spouse and whatnot. My issue with it is she's supposed to be the preeminent insider, and how much sway and impact did she have on this whole A.J. Brown story, especially since it was the Patriots. Mike Vrabel had a relationship with A.J. Brown. It's just a very big conflict of interest. And that was my take, and it will be my take. I see a lot of people saying, well, how do you think the insiders get the information? And look, this is different, much different. If she's having an affair with Mike Vrabel or even close to him, flirting with him, canoodling, whatever, holding hands. Like I said, if I showed that picture, or that picture came out of me holding hands like that, interlocked with somebody else and hugging the way they were hugging, my wife would not be happy about it. And that's not innocent. That's not my wife being over the top jealous. That's just, my eyes don't lie. That's what you see on that picture. So, of course, there's going to be speculation. And to think that there's not is ridiculous to even think about, especially because she is breaking stories. And I hear a lot of people say, like I said, about, oh, this is how people get their stories. Look, this is much different than Jay Glazer having the coaches over for like beer pong or whatever they were doing. This is way too close of a romantic relationship, or way too close to a romantic relationship. People get clouded judgment. I just think it's a conflict of interest. And furthermore, if this was all innocent, nothing happened, why are you going to resign? And that is always my thing. I'm not saying she's guilty, this, that, or the other. It could have been an innocent thing. We don't know. We might never know. But my thing is, if you're going to resign, it looks bad. Like, why? Like, to me, if it was me and I didn't do anything wrong, I would be like every day on the media saying, look, let's investigate it. Let's have a full, thorough investigation. I didn't do anything wrong. By resigning and kind of caving into the pressure, you're not necessarily saying I'm guilty, but you certainly are not portraying yourself as innocent in this. So, just like I said a couple weeks ago, more to this story is going to come out. And the fact that she's resigning, again, it's kind of like pleading the fifth. Like, sure, you have the right to plead the fifth and not testify against yourself. But if you don't have anything to hide, why do you need to plead the fifth? Diana, if you don't have anything to hide, why are you resigning? It's just, like I said, there's a lot of shadiness and... This day in Philly sports history is proud to be a part of the Clashing Conferences Sports Fan Network, where passionate fans make powerful content. Check out theclashingconferences.com and join the squad today. All right, April 15th. First, we're going to go back to 1965, and it was Game 7 of the Eastern Division Finals at the Boston Garden, the old one. Sixers versus Celtics. Celtics were up 1 with 5 seconds left. Hal Greer goes to inbound the pass to a cutting Chet Walker, and John Havlicek stole the ball, passes it to Sam Jones, runs out the clock. Celtics go to the finals, despite Wilt having 30 and 32 rebounds. Havlicek himself had 26 as the Celtics beat the Sixers 110 to 109. The big takeaway from this game was Johnny Most, the Celtics play-by-play announcer, with one of the more, possibly the most famous call in NBA history. Havlicek steals it over to Sam Jones. Havlicek stole the ball. It's all over. It's all over. God, I hate that. Anyway, Celtics would go on to win their 7th straight NBA title. And that leads us perfectly into today's What If Wednesday, brought to you by Lotwin. Go to Lotwin.com to check out their 3D custom hype chains. I keep telling you, these things are great for youth sports, home run chain, whatever you want to use it for. Go to Lotwin, use the promo code TCCPOD to take 10% off of your order. And this is a what if in Philly sports that I never really hear too many people talking about. But what if John Havlicek didn't steal the ball? What if he didn't pass it to Sam Jones and Sam Jones ran out the clock? What if that pass gets completed to Chet Walker? Then what? If you look at the replays, Chet Walker was open up the sideline. Sure, you had 5 seconds, but could he have dribbled in and shot the ball? I mean, he was having an okay day shooting the ball. He was like 58% or something. Wilt Chamberlain likely was open on the post. And either way, he was probably tall enough to get it. Do you get the ball into Chamberlain, who had 30 points and 32 rebounds, and do the Sixers win it? To me, there's a good chance that either one of those plays would have worked out. So let's say the Sixers win. Then they go to the NBA Finals, take on the Lakers. Elgin Baylor was hurt. Sixers should have been able to win that game or that series in 6 or 7. I don't think Jerry West would have been able to carry the Lakers against the Sixers, specifically Wilt Chamberlain, who offensively was probably more dominant than what Bill Russell was. Was this the Wilt coming out party? Would he it was his first year with the team? Does he become a legend in Philly? Does he ever leave Philly? Does it give the Sixers enough confidence to go and win back-to-back? We know they won it in 66-67. Would they have won 3 straight titles? And then how does that impact the Celtics dynasty? Part of their lore was winning those 8 straight championships and then winning more afterwards. How does that impact that? I don't know. It's an interesting thought. But Havlicek stole the damn ball. What would have happened if Havlicek didn't steal it? Love to know your thoughts on that. Hit me up on the Back to the Future voice and text line, 267-495-8531. Get anything Philly sports related off your chest. Lots to talk about today, but all of that in honor of the Sixers losing to the Celtics in the Game 7 of the Eastern Division Finals in 1965 when Havlicek stole the ball. All right, fast forward. Oh, What If Wednesday brought to you by Lotwin. Get your 3D custom hype chains. These things are amazing. And use the promo code TCCPOD to take 10% off your order. All right, let's fast forward to 1977. Down 2-0 in the quarterfinals, having lost both games at the Spectrum. The Flyers found themselves down 3-2 late in the third period up in Toronto in Game 3 until Rick MacLeish tied it with 38 seconds left, and then he hit the game winner less than 3 minutes into overtime. He also added an assist to this game. He became the first NHL player in history to score a goal in the final minute of the game and then score the game winner in overtime in the same playoff game. It was just the spark the Flyers needed, as they would win the next 3 games to win the series 4-2. But it was bleak for the Flyers, and then Rick MacLeish took over, scoring with 38 seconds left and then hitting the overtime game winner. Fast forward to 1985. Phillies lose to the Cubs 2-1 in Chicago. Mike Schmidt played in his 1,975th game, breaking Richie Ashburn's team record for games played for the Phillies. He is still number 1 to this day. Jimmy Rollins is number 2, but Mike Schmidt becomes the Phillies' all-time leading player in game, or all-time leader in games played with 1,975. I think he would get it up to like 2204, I think is the exact number. But that happened on this day in 1985. And then fast forward to 2004. Down 4-0, the Phillies scored 2 runs in the 7th, 4 runs in the 8th. David Bell, Mike Lieberthal, both homers. Real Cormier got the win. Billy Wagner came in to save it as the Phillies finally got their elusive first win at Citizens Bank Park, beating, I believe it was the Cubs that day, and finally winning a game at Citizens Bank Park. And then we do know that was the first win. Counting last night's game, which was a loss, the Phillies have 910 wins and counting at Citizens Bank Park. So there you have that, in case you were keeping score at home. And then finally, we're dealing with Flyers Penguins coming up. We have it on the horizon. It's going to be a lot of fun. But let's go back to 2012. Flyers go up 3-0 on the Penguins in the Eastern Conference quarterfinal series, winning 8-4 at the Wells Fargo Center. Danny Briere had 2 goals and an assist. Matt Reed and Max Talbot also had 2 goals. Jaromir Jagr had 3 assists against his former teams. Things got dicey in the next 2 games before the Flyers finally pulled it out, beating the Penguins in 6. Would love to see another replay of that. Young team, nothing to prove, beating the old vets. You love to see it. And then in 2019, we got Sixers playoffs tonight. Of course, we're going to focus on a Sixers game today. After being stunned in Game 1, the Sixers bounced back to beat the Nets 145-123 in their first round series to even it at 1 game apiece. Joel had 23 points, 10 rebounds. Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, J.J. Redick, Mike Scott, and Boban Marjanovic all had double figures. Ben Simmons, though, messing around, had a triple-double, 18 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists, his second career playoff triple-double, second straight year he had a playoff triple-double. And that leads us into today's trivia question. Ben, 3 career playoff triple-doubles. 5 other Sixers have had triple-doubles in the playoffs. Who are they? Some of them have had multiple ones, but hit me up on the Back to the Future voice and text line. Besides Ben Simmons, who else has had a playoff triple-double in Sixers playoff history? We're not going to go back to the Syracuse Nationals. George King did have one for them in 1956, but we're going to keep it Sixers. What Sixers have had triple-doubles in the postseason? And then finally today, our You Never Get a Second Chance to Make a First Impression spotlight, Donovan McNabb. Obviously, he was booed on draft day. And again, not his fault. A couple knuckleheads, 30 to be exact, went up and booed him because they wanted Ricky Williams. I think the draft played out pretty well. So obviously, Donovan had a chip on his shoulder, sat behind Dougie P. Everybody wanted him to play. Andy stuck to he's going to sit behind Doug Peterson all year until about week 10 when Andy Reid had seen enough of Dougie P. Donovan got the start against Washington, led the Eagles to a win, 35-28. Not his best game statistically, but it's when we started to believe that we had something special. And then, of course, his sophomore year, second year in the league, 2000, had his breakout season. Eagles make it all the way to the NFC Championship game. Or no, makes it to the playoffs. They didn't go to the NFC Championship game that first year as a starter. But Donovan McNabb, great first impression, overcame The knuckleheads that booed him, which was to this day still one of the more embarrassing. And I know we've thrown batteries at JD Drew, snowballs at Santa, shot flare guns at the vet on Monday Night Football. Lots of embarrassing moments for Philly fans, but to me, one of the most embarrassing moments is booing Donovan McNabb, who is the GOAT franchise quarterback in Eagles history, and a couple of knuckleheads booed him, and we all get lumped into those idiots who booed Donovan McNabb. And yes, if you're one of those idiots who are listening, sorry, it was a dumb move, stupid radio prank, made no sense from a team perspective. Idiots. So probably lost some listeners with that one, but that's all right. Donovan McNabb, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. He does love us. He will always love us. So we made a bad first impression on him, but Donovan, great start to his career. And then again, on his way to becoming the GOAT of Eagles franchise quarterbacks. Don't forget the trivia question. What other Sixers besides Ben Simmons have had playoff triple doubles? Would love for Tyrese or VJ to have a triple double tonight. How about Kelly Oubre to have a triple double? That would be awesome. But on this day in 2009, Sixers bounced back after losing game one, beating the Nets 145-123. Ben Simmons messing around and having a triple-double. And then in 2012, Flyers go up 3-0 on the Penguins, beating them 8-4. Danny Briere, Matt Reed, Max Talbot all had 2 goals in this game. 2004, Phillies finally get their first win at Citizens Bank Park, 6-4 over the Reds. Finally, it was the Reds, not the Cubs. I knew it was an NL Central team. But they would go on to win 909 more games and counting at the bank. Mike Schmidt sets the Phillies' all-time games played record, breaking Richie Ashburn's on this day in 1985. Rick MacLeish takes over at the end of regulation and overtime to save the Flyers from going down 3-0 up in Toronto. And then, of course, Havlicek stole the ball. Sixers lose to the Celtics 110-109. What if, though? What if Havlicek didn't steal it? Do the Sixers win that game? And how is the course of NBA history different from there on out? It's one of those things you never know. We will have more. Hopefully, we're celebrating the Sixers getting into the actual playoffs. They don't have good success so far in the play-in, but that changes tonight. And then maybe they shock the world and upset the Celtics. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. Not without Joe. I'm not going to do it. And then, of course, hopefully, as we get more information on when the Flyers will play, we find out it'd be great to have a Saturday night Flyers-Penguins game. Woo-hoo-hoo. Or even better, a Sunday afternoon. It's supposed to be rainy on Sunday, so Saturday or Sunday afternoon at 3. I'll take it. Happy Jackie Robinson Day, everyone. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for April 15th, 2026. My name is Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Wednesday. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.